Hi, and thanks for taking the time to view this video. My name is Greg McCullough, and I'm a real estate agent. The purpose of this video is to show you how to be able to buy a home regardless of what your credit is like right now. I've put together a system for working with folks like yourself to not only help you overcome credit issues and be able to buy a home, but I'll also show you how to save a minimum of $53,272 when buying and financing a home and be 100% debt-free in 10 years or less. And I can show you how to do it without spending one extra penny every month or doing what any other realtor or lender would have you do. So how does it all work? Well, the first thing we'll do is get together and talk about your situation. The reason for this is because everybody's situation is different, and I want to make this work for you by giving you options specific to your situation. I'll give you some more details coming up. But first, I want to tell you that there is no fee, no obligation, nothing to buy up front for us to get together and figure out your options. I'll explain to you why that is in just a minute. Now, once we sit down and figure out what your options are, then I'll share with you all the resources that you might need to make this happen. We'll match you up with homes, match up with a lender, closing attorneys, anything else that you might need. And my team members and I will be there to guide you all along the way. Now, as I mentioned, the first thing we'll do is get together and talk about your situation so we can let you know exactly what your options are. And I want to remind you again that there is no cost or obligation for us to sit down and get together. Now, what's the catch? Why would I do this for you? Well, the answer is very simple. I get paid by a seller when I put you in a home. Here's how real estate agents make money. Sellers put their homes on the market and offer a commission to an agent for bringing them a buyer. Well, I help you buy a home, and I get paid. Now, when I first started in this business 13 years ago, I worked for a builder, and getting a loan was a little bit different then. And I learned at the time that he who gets the financing gets the sale. So I quickly became very good at getting financing for folks who'd been turned down or had a few credit issues, anybody who had problems getting a loan. Well, I sold a lot of homes helping those folks into homes. But then financing became a little bit easier to get. Almost anybody could get a loan, so I didn't have to work nearly as hard to help people get loans. And a few years ago, that all ended. And suddenly I wasn't selling as many homes. I had a lot of people who wanted to buy, but couldn't because they didn't know how to overcome their issues. Lending's become very tight again. So I had to kind of go back and come up with solutions to help folks get the financing that they need. And over the past few years, I've been able to do that. Now, let's talk about how I'm going to help you. The first step is getting together and talking about your situation. And here's some of the things that we'll talk about. First, we're going to talk about what you're looking for in a home. You know, features like number of bedrooms, baths. Do you want a bonus room, not a bonus room, big kitchen, small kitchen, things like that. We'll talk about location. Where do you want to be? Where do you need to be? Do you need to be close to work? Do you need to be a certain school district? We'll also talk about price, and by that I mean payment, because unless you're paying cash for a home, the price really doesn't matter. But you know, we want to make sure that you're comfortable and able to afford a home. We'll also talk about time frame. How soon do you want or need to move? Are you in a lease? Do we need to wait that out? What are your options as far as that goes? We'll talk about the financial aspects of buying a home. We'll talk about payment. And again, we'll get into that a little bit because there's a thing called a debt-to-income ratio, and that's where you figure out what kind of home you can afford, what payment will work for you. And just because you qualify for a certain payment doesn't mean you have to doesn't mean that you have to use that payment. For example, if you qualify for a $1,500 a month payment, well, you might only feel comfortable with $1,000 or so. So we'll talk about all that. We'll talk about down payment. Have you set aside any money for a down payment? What's your situation? How long could it take you to save a down payment? And this is a big question that I get. Can you buy a home with no down payment? Well, believe it or not, there are some special government programs still out there that will let you either buy a home with no down payment, use a government-provided grant to cover your down payment, or there's down payment assistance that's available. And guess what? Each one has different criteria, but all my lender partners know every one of those programs. So we'll absolutely be able to help you there. Now, one of the last things we'll talk about is credit issues. Now, don't worry, because over 70% of folks out there have some credit issues, whether it's bankruptcy, foreclosure, repossession, late payments, divorce, medical, whatever. Believe it or not, 70% of folks have issues with that. And it doesn't matter what yours are. Believe me, I've seen them all, heard it all. But I do need to know what yours are so that I can help you overcome them and tell you how to deal with them. Now, once we do that, then I will explain what options that are available to you. Then you decide what you want to do. If none of the options work for you, if you're not comfortable with what we sit down and talk about, then no problem. I don't want you to do anything that you wouldn't feel comfortable with or want to do. But and let me say this is not for everyone, and I can only work with a certain number of people at a time anyway, so that's why if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. Well, anyway, once you decide that you want to move on, that one of the options will work for you, well then I talk to you a little bit about the resources that you'll need. We've got a home finder service where we'll help you find a home. We'll match you up with one of our lender partners, closing attorneys, financial and credit advisors, appraisers, home inspectors, on and on and on, anybody that you need. And either myself or one of my team members will be there to guide you every step of the way. We'll have some regular meetings that we'll schedule. We'll send you emails with reminders and updates and information. And we'll also be available by phone. We'll also follow up with you on the phone to make sure things are going the way that they're supposed to go. Now, I also mentioned that in addition to showing you how to buy a home regardless of your credit, that I could show you how to save a minimum of $53,272 when buying and financing a home. Now, here's my disclosure on that. That works. What I'll show you works if you're buying a home that's valued at $100,000 or more. If it's less than that, now I can still show you how to save a lot of money, and the savings will be significant. It will just be less than the figure that I've given you. The other thing that I absolutely can help you do is be 100% debt-free in 10 years or less. And I don't want to put you on a rice and beans and rice diet. You won't need to sell your car and buy a clunker. There's no books or courses to buy. This is a service that I provide for clients and folks I work with at no cost to them. You won't have to get a pizza delivery job or any other of that stuff, because, as I mentioned, I can show you how to do all this without spending one extra penny every month than you're already spending, or doing what any other realtor or lender would have you do. So, how do you move forward? Well, it's simple. All you got to do, if this is something you feel that you'd like to find out more about, all you have to do is pick up the phone and give me a call. 864-735-7868. That's 864-735-7868. Now, keep in mind, I get a lot of phone calls, and I try and answer the phone every time it rings. But sometimes I'm just not available because I'm meeting with folks. So if you do leave a message, I will absolutely get back to you. So again, I hope to hear from you. If you'd like to learn how to buy a home regardless of what your credit is like right now, then again, just pick up the phone, give me a call, 864-735-7868. I look forward to working with you, and thanks again for watching this video.